Welcome back to another episode of Warren Cali. In this episode, I'm going to detail the story of Tongan rapper, Juice Boy. Now, Juice Boy was a Bay Area rapper from East Shoreview who was on the grind for several years. Juice Boy would be a part of a group called Cutthroat Mode that featured two other rappers, Music and Roland. They gained a high level of fame in the Polynesian community, being one of the most recognizable groups over the last few years. In 2017, the group dropped an album called The East Side, and in the following years, they dropped a bunch of singles and even dropped solo records. But in 2020, everything would change for Juice Boy, who was 30 years old at the time, and he would be shot and killed in his driveway, putting his 2-year-old son in his car, who was also shot in the head, but he survived.
Violence rocked a San Mateo neighborhood this morning, and the killer is still on the run tonight. This is the view from NBC Bay Area Sky Ranger. It happened just after 9 this morning on Eleanor Drive, which is near the 10192 interchange. Neighbors say they heard about 3 or 4 gunshots, and when police arrived, a 30-year-old man was slumped in his car, and he died at the scene. Investigators are looking at surveillance video from neighbors to help identify a possible suspect or getaway car. Police believe the victim was targeted, and this is not a random attack.
A lot will come up after the shooting on why it happened. It will all come back to 2 Warren Tongan gangs, one from East Shoreview and the other from West San Mateo. Juice Boy was a part of a crew from East Shoreview, and he was targeted in the shooting. Many months prior, an innocent grandmother named Susanna, who was 85 years old and was a loved woman in the community, in her church, she was killed in a fire that someone set in her home in San Mateo.
Say 85-year-old Susanna Tonga was the type of grandmother anyone would want.
She's a good woman, man. She was loved by the community, and what happened, you know what I mean? Like, we wouldn't want to happen to anybody else's grandma.
February 19th, first responders raced to Tonga's home in the 100 block of Humboldt Street in San Mateo. Flames were burning the structure with multiple victims trapped inside.
Initially, we were dispatched to what we thought was just a house fire.
Firefighters responded from Station 24, which is just a couple of blocks from the fire scene. They arrived in 60 seconds. Police arrived a minute after that. First responders were able to rescue 6 people, but Susanna Tonga did not make it out alive.
We all miss and love her.
The subsequent investigation revealed an accelerant was put on the front door of the home, sparking the deadly blaze. Investigators used surveillance video from a neighboring home to track and arrest a suspect days later. San Mateo police have arrested 26-year-old Fafita Tau of East Palo Alto for intentionally setting the fire that killed Tonga. The motive behind the alleged crime? Shocking, even to veteran officers.
This was a gang-related incident. It was a gang-on-gang incident, and the gang member that set the house on fire acted independently of his gang.
Investigators won't say which gangs are involved or what prompted Tau to seek revenge and set Tonga's house on fire, ultimately killing the beloved grandmother.
But I'm still in shock right now. I just now heard about it right now.
Relatives say they're struggling to make sense of the new revelation as they prepare.
This will all lead back to a man named Fafita. He was arrested later for setting the fire and killing Susanna. He targeted Susanna's house because Susanna's grandkids were a part of the San Mateo gang, and he wanted revenge for prior events between their gangs. Fafita was aligned with Shoreview, but this would give him 40 years to life for setting the fire and taking Susanna's life. Many months later, Susanna's grandson John would get his revenge. He took it out on Juice Boy, shooting him multiple times and taking his life, and also shooting his 2-year-old son in the head, which he survived. John would be arrested 2 years later, in 2022, in North Carolina, and another man involved in the shooting was arrested in Hawaii.
2 men accused of ambushing and killing a man in front of his San Mateo home and wounding his 2-year-old son have been arrested. 29-year-old John Pasi was arrested at his home in North Carolina. 30-year-old Isaleli Mahi was arrested in Honolulu. Both were wanted for the murder of Utah Savelio Muasika Jr. on Eleanor Drive in San Mateo back in 2020.
This situation was an unfortunate event, leaving a little innocent boy shot and an innocent grandmother dead, and also Juice Boy dead himself, and people from both sides most likely spending the rest of their lives in jail. John and his accomplice both are facing time and still haven't been sentenced for killing Juice Boy. Juice Boy was a rising artist in the Polynesian community, and life was cut short at 30, but his Cutthroat Mode group continues to keep his name alive. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, make sure you check out my previous episodes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.